wrestling fans, XPW fans, wrestling chatter fans, Xtreme Memory fans, welcome to yet another episode of Xtreme Memories right here. Hey, these guys on the Wrestling Chatter YouTube channel, lights green, it's a go. Once again, subscribe, share, comment, like right here on the Wrestling Chatter YouTube channel. Xtreme Memories on the 15th and the 30th of every single month. All XPW, everything XPW right here. The newest version of Xtreme Memories, the watch-alongs, the reaction videos. These have been a blast. Without any further ado, I'm going to introduce our guest. We're going to go back in time to the year 2000, November 4th, to be exact, almost 25 years to the date. The very mysterious. His name is Gary Key, but we knew him as Tool. Don't do that. Oh, Tool. Oh, where's the mask? Tool, Gary Key, welcome to Xtreme Memories and welcome back, my friend. How are you? How are you, Gary?
Awesome. Can't be better.
Oh, well, thank you for being on once again. And once again, fans, archive our interview. When we started Xtreme Memories back in the year 2020, we were all locked up, and what better thing to do than Xtreme Memories? So we did all the interviews, archived them, and there's a very good interview with this guy, first time unmasked to the XPW fans.
That's right.
Tool. Yep, that's right, Tool. So archive that. Welcome back, Gary. We're going to go back in time, and we're going to watch along a little reaction video with yourself, with yours truly. And this goes back to the year 2000. This is a very special episode because this, my friend, this was an episode where somebody legitimately almost died. I'm serious. We'll get to the end of this episode. The incident that we are talking about, there was a major mishap, and we are all extremely lucky and fortunate that one of our fellow wrestlers, our fellow workers, actually, and his manager, his liaison, the lovely Jessica, we're lucky they didn't die, and you guys were close to this big mishap too. So when we get to that, we'll talk about it. But in the meantime, let's go through the wild, wacky world that was XPW 1.0 between 1999 and 2003. Again, fans, November 4th in the year 2000, and we're also going to see the XPW debut of Playboy Buddy Rose, the late great. What a legend. And this was episode 31 of XPW TV, airing November 4, 2000, coast to coast, syndicated here in Los Angeles on KGLA, and syndicated across the country via the America One Network. Gary Key, Tool, the very mysterious Tool. Are you ready, my friend?
Yeah, let's watch it.
All right. Once again, if you're listening to audio only, go ahead and click on YouTube, XPW TV episode number 31. Turn the volume down. Get your commercials out of the way if you don't have premium. And when I count down from 5, go ahead and hit play simultaneously when I hit 0. Here we go, fans. Xtreme Memories. Thank you for joining us once again. Like, share, comment, subscribe to the Wrestling Chatter YouTube channel in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. XPW TV episode number 31 from November 4, 2000.
Because I think you're the only one who understands. Webb, Jessica, they just didn't learn their lesson. She could have had it good with me, you know? But, decided to join the, Federation of White Trash. They all learned their lesson. Some through pain, some through torture, some through both. You know, all their dreams up in smoke, you know what I mean? You remember that plan I had? Yeah, I think it's time. I think it's time they burn in hell for what they've done. They'll stay down this time. I promise you. You see, when you dance for the devil doesn't change. The devil changes you.
Okay, George, you can mute it. All right. So so what we're gonna do, Gary, is like we just did when the audio plays, we'll just watch it, and then now once it's mute, this is when we'll talk and react to it. So that was you, my friend. This was the time in XPW where we lost the LA Sports Arena, and it was a few months without live shows, so there was a lot of filler. Is where you see these guys, Rocco and Jocko. I believe they were Devastation Incorporated in GWF on ESPN. But Gary, talk a little bit about that. That was you, of course, in the mask. Man, you're jacked. You were jacked right there. Now, let me ask you, you're legit 6'5"?
4.
6'4"? Okay. Because you really, I mean, you had some lifts on your boots as Tool, right?
Yeah. So I was coming in at 6'7", but 300 pounds.
Okay, I remember I got some flack because when you walk down the aisle at the LA Sports Arena, and the camera, would get that Andre the Giant shot of you, like Giant Gonzalez down on the ground, looking upward, and it looked so good that on commentary I was like, "Wow, here he comes, the 7-foot monster." Yeah. And they're like, "Okay, I know we're trying to put him over, Kloss, but 7 feet, come on!" Like. And I'm like, but it looked so good. It looked great. And you did. And in the beginning, they put you in with guys like Dynamite D, Homeless Jimmy, shorter guys.
Right.
Yeah. But I thought that was a great gimmick. I think Tool had a lot of legs. And there's the late, great Dynamite D right there.
Oh, yeah.
And here we go with the XPW TV intro. But I thought Tool was great, my friend. Bobby, your manager there, nothing against him at all, but I think that him coming in with you, I personally think it kind of derailed the momentum a little bit.
Well, I think it split the audience.
There you go.
Because they were split after that, and it only got worse. And I kind of pitched an idea about, let's have him make me do all this stupid stuff in the ring. I don't want to do it. And then he causes me to make a mistake, do something. I slap him. His guys come in. I clear the ring. Now we got 8 months worth of material. But that's not
right.
That's not how it went down. So
also too, you were already getting over. We talked about this, I think, on our interview. One of the great moments was so I think it was Terry Funk and Sabu. They were in the ring at the sports arena.
Sports, yes.
And they were attacking Sabu, and I believe you came in to save Sabu from the Black Army, right?
Right.
Okay, and then you guys did the whole like Ultimate Warrior Hulk Hogan back-to-back thing, and only one's left in the ring, and you guys face each other. And I tell you, man, that pop was something else. Like, because it was like this, oh, what if Sabu and Tool go at it? Because it was like, now it was almost like, all right, we're bringing Terry Funk in, we're bringing Abdul the Butcher, and we're bringing Sabu in. These are your main event championship guys. Even though XPW did a good job in fusing everybody, ECW and XPW guys, not just putting ECW guys on top. But it was still like looked at as the fans like, okay, Sabu's a legit guy. Terry Funk's a legit guy. Then when Sabu and Tool face off, it was almost this like, oh, maybe an XPW guy is big enough to stand up to a Sabu. And so I thought that pop was very telling, and thought it was a big mistake that they didn't run with it. And it was almost to the point where like you were getting just as much pop as Sabu was getting, not just pop for the moment. You were over, but again, we got derailed here. That was our last show for a while, and then they kind of repackaged you with Lucifer, and it was a little bit of the white supremacist thing. So Tool had this awesome gimmick, and imagine the Undertaker coming in, But then the Undertaker, as cool as he is, he goes white supremacist. It's like, oh, well, wait a minute now. So there's your division, like you're talking about.
Yeah, it
And
split
it split the audience. Yep, it
definitely
did.
split them. And you know, kind of the momentum, I think, kind of that killed them. You know, any momentum. You know, because I always tell people, you know, don't believe you're over because the promotion puts you over. You know, you got to be in the right place, right time, with the right idea. You know, if they're not behind you, then you know it's doesn't take long to take the wind out of your sails. You know,
I
and
agree. I agree. And but again, they can do the opposite too. Like you can have a good thing going, which you did, and then to kind of give you that identity. See, you were so mysterious. Like that was the great thing about a character like Tool is now it's left open to the imagination of the fans. Now, not only did they now define you, but they defined you with something that wasn't like badass. It was just a negative thing, the white supremacist thing.
yeah,
So, mhm.
and they were spinning because when Rob and Kevin first approached me about the gimmick, they said, "Hey, you seen the movie 8 or was it 8 millimeter?"
Yeah, I
Nicholas,
believe, yeah, Nicolas Cage. Yep.
he goes, "The Killer in Their Machine." And I was thinking, I was, oh, that'd be a good gimmick, you know. Then they kind of started spinning it the other way, you know. So that was another, you know. And I kind of at first I was like, oh, this sounds good. This sounds like a good character, you know. And then he started, you know, the other stuff was put on it. And
Yeah.
so,
Yeah, and yeah, that was from the movie, the Nicolas Cage movie around the 98 or 99 when that came out,
yeah,
right around the same time we started up. Um, was this the first? Okay, so by the way, a little history here, fans. Gary Key before XPW, he was WWF. He was working the LA Sports Arena shows. You were also enhancement talent as Gary Key in WWF. So this was. I remember when you came in, I was like, oh wow, Gary Key from WWF. So you were already doing stuff long before XPW, and then you had your own company, IWF, out in Simi Valley. Um,
Impact Wrestling Federation.
IWF Impact Wrestling Federation. Yeah,
Where did that
the
where did that
original.
pop up later on?
Yeah, the original Impact. So what? So the question now, you've already done so much. You worked everywhere, national television with WWF. Were you, and you did stuff with WCW? I remember that Bash at the Beach.
Yeah,
Um, were you? But by the way, I have one of those banners here, Gary.
I saw that. Yeah,
Oh, you did? You saw that? Okay,
that,
I posted it. Yeah, I have the actual banner from the 1995 Bash of the Beach. It's 30 years old now. This banner.
oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So was this the first? Because I thought personally, you were enhancement WWF, but I thought, well, look, XPW's trying to get over. Like in some ways, it was a waste, but it was such a good character to cover your face up. However, my question was this the first character wrestling that you did with a mask, with a wrestling
No,
mask?
oh no.
No.
When
Okay.
I worked with Jesse EWF, I did Samurai Warrior. We
Oh,
did
right,
Trust-
right.
Trusty. I would work for Jesse on. I would do 2 matches in one show. I would come out as the Samurai Warrior, and then later on down the end of the show, I'd come out as myself.
Ah, okay. Double the money. Double
So,
the.
and I worked a bunch of. I worked. We did a Krusty the Clown gimmick, and then for I did Doink the Clown. I did that for was that NWC out in Vegas, and that was for Sabu was there, Terry Funk was there. They had a NWC. We had an Ultimate Warrior, and he no showed. But yeah, that was NWC. That was with Tad Martin. Tad Martin, yeah.
Okay.
And he ran out there in Vegas. So I worked under a mask before, and I had no problem working under a mask.
Gotcha. What did you think, Gary, when XPW hit the scene? You came in right in the beginning, but you weren't there at the first show, the Reseda. I don't think you were there at the country club shows, right? Reseda?
No.
Okay. So you came in, your first show was the Palace or the LA Sports Arena?
Sports Arena.
Well, how fitting is that? Your old stomping grounds, right?
Yep.
Yeah. What did you think when you heard about so all of these goofy gimmicks? You got the NC doll, you got all this stuff. But what did you think when you okay, you're coming into XPW, you'd already done a lot, but now what impressed you about it? Was it we're on national TV, or that we were at the sports arena?
The amount of money that was pumped into it,
right, by that guy,
and that's what I don't care what that's what it takes to make it,
Yeah.
But you got to have good direction, and I think one of Rob's problems was there was too much change of the big name talent for a little bit, no consistency. So,
okay.
I mean, Sabu was there. I mean, he was loyal as could be.
Right.
He was probably one of the main guys that stayed.
Yeah.
And was there all the time. But there was, a little changing of the guard, and in that business, it's, those guys are going to go, they'll tell you anything. And then when they get a better opportunity or something, they're gone.
Yeah.
And I think he should have focused more on his local talent. And use the big name talent to build his local talent up.
Right.
And you'll get more loyalty out of those guys. So, but I was, the like I said, the amount of money that was put into the production, and that's what it takes to put that show on. It's not cheap. Trust me, I know. I've promoted shows, and I've done that's fundraisers, and at the end of the day, you're pitching pennies, and especially where he was working, he's working in buildings where you have to pay for their cleanup, their security.
Yeah.
You can't bring your buddy down the street that gets a free T-shirt and have him do security for you. You got to bring in, and so there was a lot of money put into that.
What did you think about? Did you watch the show when it was on Saturdays? This show, did you get it where you were at?
Yeah, this is how long goes. I recorded on VHS tape.
Yeah, we all did, man.
Well, what's fun is I was recording on VHS tape, and my girlfriend at the time, she comes, all of a sudden the Tool promo came on.
Uh-oh. I remember this, yeah.
Oh, man.
Oh, boy. Oh, man. Now you're the one being tortured in the dungeon, the other way around.
Yeah.
So yeah, talk like those. See, in the beginning, that's what we did with that's what they did with the Tool character before Lou Cypher. I mean, that was. Did you mind? Did you care if you were in a mask or not in a mask? Did you care?
No. And actually, I had just started working for the county of Ventura, and I thought it was good, and I was in the union. I was actually apprentice going to school, just finished. So I thought it was kind of better to go under a mask and not draw, to myself.
Yeah, that one actually worked out perfect, really.
Yeah, so I did. Yeah, and it was good the way it went.
Yeah. So your initial on XPW TV here, when they first were showcasing you, it was just those dungeon with Rob's access to all these women, so it was it made the product gritty, dirty, dark, and sexy, and it was just had all these advantages. And like you said, the money, and look, we had a TV studio ready at the go. So it was like it was almost a foregone conclusion. I guess we really didn't know how TV was going to work, but it was kind of a foregone conclusion when it started that TV was going to be a thing. Now, when you came in, TV was already rolling, right?
Yeah. Oh, yes. Yes.
But it wasn't that long. You came in still pretty early.
It's almost when it first started.
Right. In like early 2000. So was it Kevin that got a hold of you and pitched everything to you, or?
It was somebody reached, because a lot of these, I had my school in Simi Valley, and I was running Impact Wrestling, and all the guys were in my school, and then they kind of broke off and went and they were training with Rob, or it was another promotion, and I don't whatever, but so, and then I can't remember how it came about. I think it was Klein Rock. I talked to Klein Rock first. Yeah, Kevin.
Okay.
Somebody gave me his number, told me to call him.
Okay.
Yeah.
By the way, this is the beginning of the feud between NC, the Santa Claus, and Sulu. They were one was a heel, one was a face. Now they weren't friends. So Steve Rosano right here lost his mind looking for help. This was the angle they did with him. These were those commercials that were always there with myself and all this. But what was it? Because when you came in, it was interesting. We were at the sports arena. Like, you came in at a time when we were doing shows, but not too far removed from when we just stopped. Remember that? We just stopped doing shows for like almost not a year, but quite a few months until November.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah. But
yeah.
And then it picked back up, and it was pretty regularly. But then he was going to the high school, and
right.
And we went out in the desert somewhere.
We went up to Bakersfield, went out to Ventura.
Ventura, yeah, my hometown, Ventura.
I actually remember I was carpooling up with the ring announcer Guido, and we were driving up to the Bakersfield show. Do you remember this, Gary?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we stopped in a Sizzler, and you were there with your girlfriend at the time.
Yeah.
And we just, hey, what's up? Well, we know where you're going. We're going up. It was just, but yeah. So that was Bakersfield. So you did the sports arena shows, and you did the Birmingham High shows, but you didn't do the Olympic, did you?
No.
Yeah,
No.
you just missed it, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just missed it. Again, I think the only reason Tool got derailed, well, I know the only reason it got derailed was because, like you said, they can make you, they can break you.
Yep.
And that was 100%. I think a lot of fans were just pissed off at the fact that that this was going somewhere, and for no reason. I guess they could have put Bobby with somebody else, but they decided to put him with you. That character, I should say. Here it is. So this is when we were just starting to ramp back up again. November 10th, 2000, San Bernardino National Orange Show at the fairgrounds.
I remember.
Yeah, and this was the same venue that Monday Night Raw was at. The very night after WrestleMania 12 was in Anaheim, the very next night they did a slew of tapings, a live 1 hour and then 3 tapings, so 4 hours worth of television. And so if you ever watch, I'm right there in the front row, and you can actually see a young Supreme and Chaos, and we didn't even know each other yet, and we were like 10 seats away from each other. It would be like the following year we would meet, but that's the same venue as we were at. So when you guys watch.
I was at the Orange Show for WWF.
Yeah, and you were. I don't know. Were you there? You weren't there in '96 though, right?
No, not '96.
Right.
It was earlier.
Okay, if you guys watch, if you guys have Peacock and you go to Monday Night Raw, April 1st, April 8th, April 15th, and that would be April 22nd. Those were the four. One was live, and then the three were taped. But all those were that same venue that XPW went to, but it looked completely different. The bleachers were gone. The house lights were on when we were there. Of course, WWF made it look like $1,000,000, but it was a little, remember the orange show was like a airplane hangar kind of.
Yeah. And yeah, everybody was at the same level. There was no elevation. Yeah. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, Hernandez came out.
Sorry?
Jesse Hernandez came out. He was,
Yep.
got him over there, and he was happy to see the show.
Yeah, I remember when WWF went in. I guess they brought in, which they would do from time to time. They brought in their own bleachers, and they put them up against the wide wall. That if you watch XPW TV 34 that we did on a recent episode where we see Metal Fest, it's just a big white room when we were there. That the lights of the actual building were on, and so you just see a big room. You could see the back wall where WWF put bleachers against, so they made it look like a big arena, or a decent sized arena. But
yeah,
that
I
was
set the ring up for that, and when we got there to set the ring up, the bleachers were already up. I remember that because, and it was XPW was a lot easier to set the ring up because you could back right in there, But,
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, WWF, they were already there.
Yeah, they would put bleachers on one side of the venue, and then the other side was pretty much nothing. It was just like the floor seats. And sorry,
we were walking in the back, and because we were there all day when we were working for WWF, and then we went in this one room that has all these posters, Tina Turner, all these big name, perform there. So that place, and I was like just looking at all the posters on the wall, like, wow. It was Ike and Tina Turner.
Wow.
That's how old that was. So
damn. Yeah, and also as you know, Gary, when we did all those shows in the sports arena, I mean, you were already there, but for us, it was just, for some of us, it was just like, what a dream come true that was. Like, hey, there's where I sat at WrestleMania 7 right there. Now I'm in the ring. So, I mean, I thought, personally, of course, TV. I mean, this was great. Here's Larry and I right here doing our thing. It was just so great. We're on television, and now we have to talk about like the difference, Gary, from a league that doesn't have TV, but let's say they're doing shows monthly or whatever, versus a weekly television product. Don't you think it forces you to keep it going, to keep the stories going, to keep it fresh? Where some companies, which I've seen throughout the years, not all, but a lot, you can get lazy. You don't have to do the story because we're not going to be on TV.
Like indie promotion.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you go different towns, so you could completely change. I remember I worked for Bay Area Wrestling. That's up in Hayward, California.
Yeah.
We worked for Woody Farmer. We had Mae Young. We had, and he was doing TV, and he called it studio wrestling. And we had Mae Young, Magnificent Moolah was there. We had Pro Wrestling Illustrated covered a lot of it there. But we would go up there and we would put their guys over.
Okay.
Then someone would come down to Southern California the next week and put us over in our area.
Yeah.
But that's kind of like the old territory days, how they,
sure, they
could, you could go over here, and then when you got stale or burn out, you go to a new territory.
Right.
Then everybody started doing, the Von Erich started the TV, and
yep.
Yeah, and it just changed the whole world then.
Talk a little bit about this guy, Gary. John Cronus, the late great. We lost him way too early. But what a great guy, man, and what a talent, huh?
Yeah, light as a feather. I mean, you
Okay.
look at him, you wouldn't think he, but I mean, his splashes and stuff. He landed them perfect. And it's the only. I told him, I said, "Hey, you Jews, we ain't staying together too much." So he next thing I look over there and he's juiced all over the place. So I was like, so I just picked up some and rubbed it in his head.
That the one image, the earlier image of Supreme, Cronus hitting Supreme into that sheet of glass. Do you remember? You weren't at the Palace, but do you remember when we did those? They had real sheets of glass. Do you remember that?
No,
Oh my gosh! And this was like done because remember back then, it's like, well, the fans were so fickle with like Japanese deathmatch, and they would criticize WCW for putting like plastic tips on the barbed wire and all that stuff. Remember?
oh,
And so like XPW wanted to prove, but
there-
I remember for one of those shows, it was like a real sheet of glass. It wasn't like Hollywood breakaway glass or anything like that. It was
yeah,
nuts.
yeah, Nita style of wrestling.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, John Cronus, man, he's one of my favorite guys in and out of the ring. He was just a giant kid in the best of ways. He was this
Yeah,
giant. He kind of like a lot of people in wrestling are kids at heart, but this guy was the poster boy for that, in my opinion. He was
yeah
just a
that,
fun
that,
guy.
that was sad when he, I heard he passed.
Oh, wait, a long time ago now.
Yeah,
Long time ago now. But man, he was one of those guys, like you said, a Sabu, loyal. He was a team player, man. He really enjoyed the whole XPW experience. It wasn't just like, okay, I'll get a paycheck out in California with these guys. No, man, he was on board.
yeah, and he put Tool over too, you know,
Hmm.
kind of. I didn't know how he was going to take that or not, because he didn't know me. He didn't know who I
Right.
was. All of a sudden, he knows, he's doing a job, and he had no problem with it. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I'll tell you, somebody else who was really good about that was Dick Dudley. Big,
Okay.
yeah, he no problem. He's just like, okay, it's business. Let's go out and do it.
Yeah, Dick Dudley, I never had an issue with him at all. But boy, talk about a contrast of personalities. Dick Dudley was so serious and stern, whereas Kronos was like boop doop 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 doop,
Yeah,
all that.
yeah.
So we just saw Webb and Jessica, and we're getting to that point. Hey, let's get a little audio here, George. I think we gotta owe the legendary Playboy Buddy Rose. Um, this is where Rosano finds Buddy Rose. Oh, okay, maybe not yet. Okay, oh, there's Sulu. I think he's trying to patch things up between Sulu and NC. They were not, I remember this, they were not happy with each other at all for some reason right now. Oh my gosh, it's kind of like Three Stooges stuff, right? It's
Yeah.
just kind of that kind of ridiculous humor here. And also too, we talked about this, the controversy that XPW was, but then you had this stuff here. Lou Cypher, the white supremacist, he had the Black Santa, the little Asian stereotypical voice, and it was almost like sometimes you look back like, how the hell were we on TV?
Oh yeah. Well, because it's like my thing was you got to get sponsors if you want to stay on TV, and it's going to be hard to get sponsors who's going to associate themselves with.
Yeah.
So got to be, there's a fine line.
Oh, there he is. Play back.
Oh.
Oh no. Here we go, George.
Oh God. You play Playboy Buddy Rose.
That's right, Steve Rosano. The light has led you to the one and only Playboy Buddy Rose and his beautiful women.
Wow. I don't know. I had this dream, this vision, and I've been wandering the streets all over LA, and wow, led me right to here.
I know.
I don't know.
You know, it was meant to be, Rosano. You're the gigolo, and you want to live like the Playboy. This is your chance. This is Playboy Buddy Rose. We're living in my world. Playboy Buddy Rose lives like this. The money, the women, first class. This is what it's like, and you're gonna live just like me.
Okay. I certainly hope so. I don't know what drew me here. I mean, you're the OG. You know, you're the original gigolo, and you know, Jimmy Del Rey tried it. He failed. You know, and now I'm next in line. And God, if I could follow in your footsteps, I guess you know I'm supposed to be here. I saw this vision in my dream. I saw the women, the cars, and the bathing, of course.
Yes.
I saw it all.
And you can have it all too, because this was meant to be. The whole thing came out to be that you were going to see the light, find Playboy Buddy Rose. You found me at maybe the wrong time, because I don't think you're ready for this. Don't touch. This isn't. You're not ready for this yet. But eventually you will be. Eventually you will be. No. See, Rosano, this is Playboy's world right now. But I'm going to bring you into my world, and you're going to be able to live just like me and just like these ladies.
I really thank you, but there's a small spot right there. If I could just.
And that small spot will stay. I'll take care of it. And Steve Rosano, you just want to wait a little bit? I'll be right out. And ladies, we had a great time, didn't we?
Yes.
I'll get a last kiss. Okay? Do a quick kiss. All right.
Okay, dude. Was he naked?
Probably.
Oh man, the bubbles just happened to form in the right spot right there. Boy, those girls look thrilled.
Yeah, he probably wanted to do about 20 takes on that. Or
Probably. Do you remember working with Playboy before?
no, well, I can't remember where it was. It was the indie show. We were doing Tom Shea shows. Tom Shea would do all the military installations.
Okay.
He would get guys who just got recently let go from WWF. And then I think Buddy Rose was on a couple of those, you know.
Okay.
And Tom Shea did the whole West Coast up and down. And matter of fact, the last Tom Shea show that I was on, Kerry Von Erich was on that tour with us.
Wow.
That was almost 2 weeks before, you know, he did his thing.
You know, this is a weird fact, but he died on my birthday.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, February 18th. Yeah, 93. Pretty sure it was 93. But yeah, it was on my birthday. That's why I remember it.
We were on a Tom Shea show about 2 weeks before that. You know.
Okay.
And we actually rode together. And he's the one that told me, he says, you're over because of promotion put you over. He says, don't go believe in your own publicity.
Wow.
You're over because of promotion. And, you know, everybody has their issues, but, you know, nice guy.
Hey, by the way, Gary, sorry, that was the set. That's the set that you built right here.
The entrance.
And the entrance. Now that was the same XPW that was used on the entrance, right? The one above me?
No, it was a bigger one.
Oh, I thought for some reason I thought they took that off and they would use it at the show and bring it back for TV. No?
Oh, that one's smaller.
Oh, okay, because that was pretty big though. That one in the studio.
Those X's were 20 feet by 20 feet by 3 foot thick.
Not the big X's. I'm talking about the XPW that was on top of the two X's.
Yeah, that one was like 6 foot long.
Okay. Man, for some reason I thought that was the same one. Okay.
No, it was just as thick too.
Okay, because I thought because it was so big inside, like that this must be the one they used, and maybe I just never asked anybody.
No, I built that set right there that you guys did your interviews.
Yes.
I built the whole set right there.
I know, man. I remember you in the process of building it, and it was so impressive. It was so awesome. One, they ruined the one at the sports arena when Sabu and we talked about that on our interview. But I just think they did all that work. You did all that work. They did all that work by putting it in the office, and then it was like, a month or two later, oh, we need more office space. We're going to put you guys in a cubicle. Like, dude, you just had this beautiful TV set with the TV right behind us, like primetime wrestling. It was just perfect. And I think they should have kept that up for the whole duration, in my opinion.
Yeah, because it that's a whole part of that, like the entrance, because I had a ramp that went between those two exits,
Right.
got an area in the ramp, and it had like must have been a 2.5 foot wide by 8 foot long grade. So we smoke and light and all that came up through as you're walking down the
I
ramp.
remember, man.
That was, yeah. So
And those were those little things that, if anybody was a detractor of XPW for, no, these guys are just indie, it's like, okay, we're on TV and it's syndicated nationwide. Now we're at the LA Sports Arena. And then you have this, at the time, indie leagues did not have big setups like this at all.
no, oh no,
Nowadays they got, little things, the LED, whatever, they can make themselves look bigger. But at the time, it was like when you saw that, I guess we'll call it a WWF style ramp with the lights coming through, a very impressive entrance with some like sparkly silver curtains and all that. It set it apart, man. And then now people took notice, and it was just those little things that went a long way.
yeah. And, every promotion, all my shows too, I always try to, make it a little more presentable and stuff. And I worked with another promotion, friend of mine, and I built them a set, not as elaborate as XPW, but because of the shows where they were running, but it was an entrance, and it lit up and had lights, and and all that just adds to the, you come out, you're over, but when you come out and you look like that, you're over big time.
Right.
It adds that much more to the show.
Okay, cool. Yeah, right. It sure does, man. And again, back then, you were either indie or you were a major company. You know what I mean? Like there was no in between back then. We talked a little bit before we went online, fans. Gary and I just reacquainting and saying hello, just talking about the old days. And IWF, the original Impact. I was with SCCW, and that was virtually it, folks, in Southern California. There were maybe one or two other companies, and they were not nowhere near as common as they are today. So those were like the kind of the grassroots of the indie days, and like I said, there were few and far between companies. So not only were they rare, but again, you were either a little indie, boys and girls clubs and all that, YMCAs, Legion halls, or you were a TV product. So I thought when we went on TV and then we got the LA Sports Arena and then we got you building this stuff, I'm telling you, man, that set us apart, because a person flipping channels, they flip by it. Oh, it's on TV. Oh, they're at the Sports Arena. Oh, wow, look at that entrance. I mean, come on.
Yep.
These are the things, especially back. I mean, people do these things now because they understand that, okay, this is what will get everything over. But back then, the fans were a little bit more, I don't want to say naive, but kayfabe wasn't broken the way it is now, like every other corner. So you had the wrestling fan that just looked at this and they were, okay, I accept this. This is a major company. And those little things went a long way, my friend.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And it's even like my IWF, my promotion that I started, I got
Right.
the Impact, and I had the Impact Zone where we had Channel 5, we had a bunch of media cover, but I had a little there, and I called it the Impact Zone. That's where they did the interviews and stuff.
Yes.
And we had Samoa Joe, we had Christopher Daniels, we had a lot of those guys come through there, and then they went to the East Coast. The next thing you know, you hear Impact Wrestling out there, and I'm like,
Yeah.
And I got the name Impact from a cable company that was in business back then in Ventura County, and they call themselves Impact Cable. And so
Right.
That's a good name for wrestling. So
That's cool. I also think too. See the XPW logo on Chaos's shirt here.
yeah,
Speaking of rip off, I can't unthink and get out of my head. XPW started in '99. You remember the XFL, Vince McMahon's football league?
oh yeah, I was well. We did I worked on the World Bodybuilding Federation.
Oh, right, the WBF. Yeah.
I did came out swinging nunchucks.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That was you with Major Guns, Eddie Robinson with the
Yeah,
gun, right?
yeah, I come out swinging nunchucks on the.
Damn, I forgot about that. Brought to you by Ico Pro.
You know,
So,
go ahead.
okay. I was just gonna say, speaking WBF XFL. Look, I can't help to think that Los Angeles-based XPW. 1 year later, the XFL was announced, and if you look at the original XFL logo, it's got a big, instead of red, it's got a black X behind red letters XFL, so similar to the XPW logo, and the name of the Los Angeles team was the Xtreme with an X. I mean, is this just too much of a coincidence? Because I mean,
Ideals float. You know.
yeah, and LA is the town of the Xtreme, and the company logo, because people did like our logo. There was like debates about XPW, but the one thing that we got praised for was that logo. And even people there were a lot of people that, I'm not saying they liked XPW better than ECW, but I remember on the websites and all that, they would rank the logos, and XPW was always like, people were very fond. We had a great designer that did that logo, but there were people that said, the XPW logo is better than the ECW logo. I don't like XPW better, but I think the logo is better.
Well, I like their logo. I think
Yeah.
And I loved This Ain't Your Daddy's Wrestling.
That was that was perfect, especially for the first T-shirt. I had that on the back. Gosh, I wish I had some of that stuff, Gary. I remember years back, I moved and I had a lot of stuff that got damaged in a storage place, and a lot of the stuff that got damaged was just XPW stuff that I had. And I didn't think anything of it at the time. We weren't that far removed from XPW, so I wasn't thinking, oh, this stuff's going to be worth a lot. But yes, now that original shirt goes for, I'll say, a decently pretty penny on, whatever it is, eBay, whatever. And man, oh man. And I also had banners. I had like a couple banners that we hung at the show, and that all got damaged.
Oh,
Yeah, but I do have the WCW banner.
Oh, that's cool. Well, I showed you my WWF turnbuckle pad.
Oh man, I was just gonna bring that up, man.
That's the only one I got. And I have a pair of boots that Steve Austin wore back in. Jesse Hernandez can verify this, but we were working for them, and his stuff got lost on the plane. They need somebody with a size 12 or bigger shoe. So, of course, I had bigger than 12. So he used my boots, and I was like, oh, I want to get that authenticated. So one day, because I still have boots, and I have a bunch of memorabilia stuff from WWF and other people, and I wish I would have kept more.
Right. Oh, you're preaching to the choir, dude.
I mean, I working on the ring crew, I could have got so much stuff. Just I mean, I tell the story. I was sitting back in the gorilla area one time, a guy came back with Hulk Hogan's ripped up shirt and kind of threw it at me. I swatted it away. The next thing you know, somebody come by, whoosh, just grabbed that up.
Oh yeah, man. I know. I like I said, you're preaching to the choir. There's so many things I could have got and had, but that's that's a common story, I guess. Talk about this here, Gary. This is I was telling you about the Palace. This is when we had the real sheet of glass. There's the bed of barbed wire. There's the bed of nails. Talk a little bit about these guys, Messiah, Supreme. I know you were in the ring with both of them, yeah?
Oh, yeah. Even before XPW.
Right.
I had they all worked on some of my shows that I did too, also.
Right.
Oh, but yeah, they were. You know, there's a market for everything. You know, and I'm not a big, extreme fan.
Deathmatch.
Deathmatch. I'm the old school. Um, old. I guess you call it old man wrestling, but
Not your dad. Not your daddy's wrestling.
yeah. Well, it has its, and it has its place and stuff. But
Right.
those guys, and they put their bodies through. I mean, it's just. I mean, look at Sabu.
Yeah.
That guy. Oh my God. And Supreme. Those guys. They paid the price. I mean, that stuff catches up to you fast. I mean,
Right.
I'm
100%.
I mean, I'm doing pretty good considering what I've been
Yeah,
through.
you are, Garrett. I'm glad to see that you are too, and I'm sure all the fans out there are as well. But yeah, I think Billy definitely right here. He was really coming into his own because when he first came in, he was a scrawny little kid
Oh, I
called the.
remember.
Yeah, he came in as the Blunatic, with under a blue mask and blue trunks. The Blunatic. That was so creative gimmick. But he came in as that, and boy, what a transformation! Once he became Messiah, and then like a few months into being Messiah, he really transformed. What was the most you had to do as far as deathmatch stuff? That I know you didn't like doing it and you didn't want to, but they did put you in a couple matches where you had to do some of this stuff, right?
Well, with Cronus mainly.
Okay, yeah, you and
He
Cronus, that's
did
right.
Goose, and then we did some table stuff, and and I'm not into getting thrown through barbed wire, and and
Thumbtacks,
the thumb no. And too, you got to be careful out there too. When you're
right?
that, because I mean, there's all kinds of stuff going around.
Yeah, that too. I remember that was definitely a worry at this time in the early 2000s.
Oh,
Like,
big time, yeah. It was, and like I said, I my whole thing with wrestling is I was 26, 27 years old when I got into wrestling. I had already been in the Marine Corps for almost 8 years, so I was late getting into it.
sure,
That's kind of why I kind of stepped away too, because I was like, I'm kind of it's a young man sport,
right,
and
right.
especially when you're doing death matches, you got to
Oh
show
my gosh,
you
yeah,
got shelf life. So I kept it pretty tame, and especially when I was doing Tool, it was more wrestling was more, I just said I'm going to go get myself a good county job, a good union job, and then I'll do this on. And I took vacation and I went and wrestled and did worked on other projects and stuff, and it worked out really great.
right.
And I didn't have to, and I'd pretty much known that my chance. You got to be honest with yourself.
Yeah, yeah.
Age and all this
Mhm.
stuff, and do you really have the heart?
Right.
It's like you look at somebody like Supreme and Sabu. Those guys got their hearts, for this business is bigger,
Oh, big time.
and yes, that's what you have to have,
Yeah,
and that
100%.
and other anything less than that,
No,
you're not gonna make it.
it's the truth.
You
This
know,
is Uncle Paulie. I don't know. Did you ever meet him, or did you ever get a chance to talk to him? That Uncle Paulie guy?
no, because I think he did mostly just interview stuff, right?
Yeah, yeah. He wasn't
Yeah.
at the live shows, but he was a legit actor. He was, if you remember Beverly Hills Cop, the
Oh,
the the very beginning of the movie when they're in the back of that semi truck, the cigarette truck.
yeah.
He was the guy doing the deal with Axel before the cops came.
Oh,
That
okay.
was that was him. He was been in. I recently saw an episode of Knight Rider, and I'm like, that's the Uncle Paulie guy from XPW. So yeah, he was an actor. I forget why and how he came in, but yeah, he was playing the mafioso boss here with Rob, and again, a lot of filler during this time. I had to make things
Yeah, make it
present.
show.
Yeah, we got to make it as presentable as possible. But oh, here's Playboy Buddy Rose. This is at the Rose Garden. I want to say this was at UCLA. Kevin was finishing up UCLA. Hey, let's get some audio here. Yeah, let's get some audio for both these guys.
You too, Dynamite D. Dynamite D, we're going to talk about something. We're going to talk about a match coming up right now in the near future with my protege, my man, Steve Rosano, the Gigolo. I know Steve. And what's going to happen? I'm gonna wrestle. He attacked me once before, and now he's challenging me to this match. Let's get under here. Let's get under the gazebo here. It's starting to rain a little bit. Let's sit down. Yeah? Yeah, all right. I'll sit with you. Okay. What does it feel like to sit next to a person like myself? I guess it feels pretty good. I remember you from the 80s. You were one of my favorites. Was I? I was a lot of people's favorites, but I'm going to tell you what right now. I understand you've got a great reputation. You're a great technical wrestler, but when you meet my protege, Steve Rosano, you're going to find out that in professional wrestling, careers end on any given night, and your career looks like it's going to end. I hope not. I love wrestling, and I love wrestling more than almost anything in the world, and I'm happy to be wrestling your protege, Steve Rosano. Let me ask you, how long is your fuse, Dynamite? With Steve Rosano, it's going to be very short. I get mad really easy. That's right. And do you snap, crackle, or pop? What's that supposed to be? Well, because you remind me of a firecracker. You're not, Dynamite. What does Dynamite do, by the way? It explodes. And that's exactly what Steve Rosano is going to do to you. He's going to make you explode that night. You're going to lose. You're going to be pinned 1, 2, 3. Your career is going to be ended. And I'm going to back it up right here in the Rose Garden because I always back up what I say. Back it up. I didn't stutter. You heard me. And I just want to say also that will be your final night in professional wrestling. Heads are going to spin. Heads are going to roll. But why? Because Playboy Buddy Rose is going to be managing Steve Rosano, the Gigolo. And also, I'm going to be hosting my own Rose Garden in person in front of all you people. Not only am I doing it here at the live Rose Garden in Los Angeles, but I'm also going to be doing it at the arena, and you're going to find out it's your last night. Oh, man, I was looking forward to wrestling for XPW. And you're saying it's my last night against Steve Rosano? Your last match and your last night. And just when you think you've got all the answers, I change the questions. Ladies, I'll be right there. It's your last night. Bummer. That's a bummer. Steve Rosano, I'm Dynamite D, and I'm coming for you, even if you got the Playboy in your corner.
Well, those were another couple guys we lost way too early. Dynamite D, Gary, you guys, you go way back with him as well.
Yeah, and I didn't really put this together till later, but Billy Anderson used to teach at Slammers.
Right.
Yeah, him and Vern Gagne.
Langdon.
Vern Langdon were really good friends. They knew each for, and I remember I had to go to Vern's to pick up something from Vern, and I remember walking in there, and I didn't know Billy was teaching there or anything. I didn't know, but I remember Dynamite D was there, and then later on, that's when I realized that Billy had actually worked there and trained people there as well.
Okay.
So they all came out of that same school.
Yeah. Yeah, we talk a lot about Slammers on the show here and how it was just such a diamond in the rough place, one of a kind place in really the world,
Vern did. He was like stunt man. He did. Yeah. He did everything.
He did like horror movie special effects and stunts like that. Yeah.
But yeah, he's been in the business, all different avenues,
Right.
So the more I looked into it, the more I found out that, and I didn't know all that. And then Moolah was part of that back in the day.
Right. He had that Hall of Fame, those cabinets with all the old gear from like Gorgeous George, Moolah, the Russians, in those big glass cases, like it was like a museum of sorts. Yep. But yeah, no, this was Playboy Buddy Rose, Dynamite D. I mean, Dynamite D was really the guy that started a lot of people with his Wrestle Talk show, and people would find out about your company, Slammers, and everything that came after Slammers.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It was kind of a like a club you were in LA. Like if you knew you knew Wrestle Talk, you knew the cable radio network, or you
Right.
knew Dynamite D, like, you know what's up, you know what's going on. And you
KRQ,
know, sorry.
KRQ. They did
Oh, it was CRN, the cable radio network.
but they also KRQ did a thing on wrestling as well.
Are you're talking about K-Rock, KROQ?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, 1067.
yeah. 106. Yeah, they did a.
Yeah, that's right. They did.
This- It was the Jason Hervey for the Wonder Years. Missy Hyatt would always go there. Billy Anderson was always there. Louis Piccoli.
Yep. You, you know,
Sunday,
before KLOS downsized 95.5, I was doing monthly spots on the Fraser Smith show. Like wrestling news. I usually just go on after a wrestling WWE pay-per-view. But I got a buddy that works at KLOS, Dave Kaplan. Shout out to him, and he got me that spot. And I got that spot right before they started downsizing. They moved to Burbank from Culver City, and everything's downsized, and basically the computers are taking over.
yeah.
So I got in there right at the end of that wave of like the actual people were doing shows, picking songs. You know, now the computer picks the songs, and they're only the few hits. They don't go deep cuts anymore. It's pretty sad.
I have a good friend back in Ventura. He's a local personality on a morning AM radio show, and he was saying the same thing. It was like, make a living in radio now is like almost impossible. And
I agree. And here we go, George. Let's get some audio here. This is the moment that we've been waiting for.
People.
You look like. What's wrong with you? Right there. No. What? You're not looking good. No. You're not looking so good. The trash. Hey, what do you think you're doing?
Watch the end, fans. Watch the end in the explosion. No, notice they are in the dumpster.
Johnny, you seen better days, my friend? It's time for him to burn.
A hell of a lesson learned, don't you think? I mean, proud couple, once in marriage, even better in death.
Okay, now, once again, fans, thanks for joining us. That was November 4th, 2000. Okay, Gary Key, Tool, talk a little bit about that, because that, if you notice, you guys were not expecting that. It totally went off. You could hear the car alarms go off right when the explosion happened.
Blocks away.
Yeah, blocks away.
I felt the concussion. You know.
Okay, so what happened there? Like, I came in that night for TV, but it was after that happened. But the smoke was still smoldering.
We were supposed to. After I put them in there, we were supposed to cut away, get everybody out of there,
right,
and then we're gonna ignite it. But what happened was there's methane in there, so he drops that, and it was supposed to go out before it hit. But when it hit, it just blew up. And I mean,
okay, so that now you would think because the camera cut there, but Webb and Jessica were in the dumpster.
In there, yep. And after you could see I kind of dodged to get away.
Right. Yeah. You guys were shocked. You could legitimately tell. Like, whoa, what, you know?
Yeah. And then when I started coming back, it's funny now because he was okay, but I just seen Johnny Webb just coming out of the trash can like he was drunk. You know, it's just like, what the hell happened?
Yeah, it was like a Tom and Jerry cartoon when they get blown up, or Bugs Bunny. Now
we know everybody's okay. It was funny. I just, but I look back and it was like we're like, holy smokes! I think it singed some of his hair.
Right.
I think he had some of his mustache or something was singed.
Dude, if that explosion like exploded in the wrong direction,
Yes.
they would have been dead.
Yep. Oh yeah. Because that methane, a dumpster is full of methane, and methane's heavier in air, so all that methane sinks. And if I would have known that was a trash dumpster, that's not a good idea. To drop a light, they will blow up.
Yeah. So so where was the methane? Where did that come from?
Well, just rotting trash.
Okay, and
Yeah.
it doesn't and you don't need much, right? I
You don't-
thought they were
no.
gonna I thought
And
they were I thought, Gary, they were going to get something to explode, and then after they were out and
They did have an accelerant, but you don't need it.
okay.
You could probably go to a lot of dumpsters, especially they have a lot of like food trash and stuff, and you
Yeah.
can probably throw a match in there, and you'll get something because methane's heavier in air,
Right.
so it's not going to go out of the dumpster.
Okay. So
and
my
you get-
memory's foggy because I thought they did get like a little something that was going to explode, but not
Well,
that.
they did. They didn't light it, and then I guess the little whatever methane was in there made it explode more.
Okay. So there was some sort of device
Yeah.
that they were going to use later on.
Yeah, but
Okay.
the methane's what started originally.
Dude, I remember coming to the office maybe within the hour after this happened, after you guys were filming this, and I remember like the smoke, the burnt smell, and Webb and Jessica were like laying down, and then they showed, we were watching it back in the edit bay, and everyone was just like, it was one of those holy shit moments where everybody was just kind of stunned, shocked, happy that they were okay, but like, holy crap, that was close, vibes that, and I'll give it up to Webb. We went right in the edit bay and we started calling the matches because he was the one doing all that. But he was like, he was in very good shape considering what happened.
He was pretty disheveled.
Yeah. But that was XPW in a nutshell, was it not? Like doing crazy things like this. And there was no boundaries. There were no limits. We would just play with fire, quite literally.
Yeah, Rob couldn't have got a pyro team in there to do a better job than that. So he got good footage.
Yeah, he did. Right. I mean, yeah. So that was used, and I think it's important to showcase this right now because even at the time, if you weren't there and you didn't truly understand what that there was like a near fatal event, it wasn't as impact. Like, okay, the fan sees the explosion on TV, but they're kind of just watching it like, oh, they're doing some crazy angle. Like, no, fans, this is crazier than you think. We were really the only ones that knew that, and so this is maybe the first time this particular event on this episode is being discussed candidly, to where, yeah, fans, this was a moment that two people almost died, and it was miraculous that not only did they not die, but they were like in pretty darn good shape afterward. Like it just, I guess it was just the way where the direction again where the explosion blew off to.
Yeah, but I felt the concussion. It has like a wave, and I felt that.
The shockwave.
Yeah, it's almost like I don't know if you ever.
Yeah.
We threw hand grenades in the rink, or almost the same. You feel that concussion coming toward you.
Yeah.
And
so did you get? Were you just kind of blown back? And how were you and Bobby lose Cypher after that? You weren't in the dumpster, but you were literally right there.
I could feel the heat.
Yeah. Okay.
And in a winter night like that with no shirt on, it felt pretty good for a while.
That's right. I remember when I got there, it was still very warm right there. Because when I got there, it was like the smoke was still there. Yep. Like little embers were going, or not embers, but little poofs of smoke were still there. And I do remember that it was like super warm. And yes, it was one of those winter nights in the valley.
Yep. Yeah, it's like, but you know, I could feel the heat off of it, and it got my attention.
So
You know?
that ended up being used for like the next episode, which we'll check out. But like the beginning of the next episode, it was like they were like you said, crawling out of the dumpster with their hair up, like a cartoon. They used it, and we might as well use this, you know.
It was good. Like I said, it's laughable now, but
Yeah, I mean, it was a
really
surreal. Oh yeah, you know what it felt like, Gary? I remember it felt like if you're in, and I've been like a very bad car accident, but you survive. It's like you feel great that you survive, but it's just like almost feeling of a subconscious just tightness and terror thinking about what almost happened. And that was the feeling that night. It was like we were watching it back and just looking at each other like, oh my gosh, what are we doing here? Like we're playing around with danger quite a bit. And we're thankful that they didn't die, but this weird, eerie, tense, terrifying feeling of, oh my gosh, feel what just almost happened.
Yeah. And the fans are probably going, man, they spent a lot of money on pyro.
Yeah, and also thinking, oh, they're doing this in a way where they're just doing an explosion and it's just for the storyline, and everybody was really moved out of the way, having no clue. Because we could even say it on the next episode. Fans reporting for XPW TV, Larry and I, Webb and Jessica we're just doing our wrestling shtick. So we're reporting, and they're still not going to believe it really happened, but it did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Gary, hey, my friend, we're going to have you back on, and this was great. Thanks for joining us, and good to see you again. The very mysterious Tool, Gary Key. Any shout outs, any plugs, Gary?
Oh, well, just the Navajo Warrior and Samoan Joe, November 8th, I believe it is, here in Phoenix. And if you go on either Navajo Warrior's Instagram page, you'll see that. But that is his retirement match.
Wow.
That's going to be his retirement match. And he's getting up there. But he's held strongman 3 years running,
Wow.
50 and over. So,
Wow.
pretty impressive guy.
Kudos to Navajo, man. Tell him I said hello when you see him.
And you're going to see Samoan Joe in a local show. That's rare too.
Yeah. I haven't seen those guys in forever. So if you're there, tell them I said hello. And November 8th, we almost hit the anniversary because this was November 4th. And we were advertising on that show for November 10th, San Bernardino National Orange Show. And here's November 8th. So we're right around that same time. Well, Gary Key, guys, this is one of the greats right here. Not only in XPW, but before that, a pioneer in Southern California professional wrestling. And like you said, WWF, WCW, quite the legend right here. One of the great characters, I think the homegrown, especially creative in XPW, was the Tool character. It was awesome. Gary Key, Tool, it's been a great pleasure, our privilege, our pleasure to have you on, my friend. Thank you once again, my friend.
Thank you.
All right. Well, fans, thank you so much for joining us once again for Xtreme Memories. Remember, on the 15th and the 30th of every single month, right here on the Wrestling Chatter YouTube channel. Be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. For Tool, Gary Key, my name is Kris Kloss, and we'll see you next time on another edition of Xtreme Memories.